To learn the good, the bad, and the reality of the nomadic lifestyle, click the subscribe button so you don't miss anything. Click the bell notification. So, I've been looking at this kind of stuff all day long. And I'll get back to that in just a minute. As you know, Carolyn and I are trying to find some property in Missouri to do some off-grid living and tiny house living, tiny home living. And yesterday, I gave you a video where I was talking about, we drove all the way from Texas to Missouri so we could come see a piece of property that we were pretty sure we were going to buy. But when we got there, the property was not accessible. Now, since then, I have learned that we probably could have bought it and gotten some easement rights and different things, but to me, that just seemed like a huge issue still yet. And so we just weren't interested in spending $7,500 on a piece of property and then another $5,000 or $6,000 on a tiny house, solar panels, and getting everything set up, and then have to spend a few $1,000s that we weren't planning on budgeting on lawyer fees and easement rights. No, I think it's better that we just continue looking. So all day today, we've been looking for property, and I think, looked at 5 or 6 pieces of property. And most of it is surrounded by property that looks like this. One of them is really nice. Again, it was 3 acres for $7,500. There wasn't a lot to it. I mean, the original property that we came up here to see had a stream running through it, had a well. It was really nice. There's one closer to this spot right here that we're really interested in, 3 acres for $7,500. And we may come back to that one a few more times. Tomorrow, we're gonna probably head north, go visit my mom. And then we're gonna check out some property around in that area also. So right now we're kind of in eastern Missouri, just north of the Mark Twain National Forest. Now I wanna talk about this. For 3 years, Carolyn and I have been doing the Nomadic Lifestyle. And I know there are a lot of people who are very upset with me that I keep pointing out the downsides of the nomadic lifestyle, and they think I really should focus on the beauty. So when I make videos, they literally, I think, want me to turn my back. See, I can still see it, and so they can't see it because they want to live this fantasy that everything's perfect. But if I just roll back over here, you're going to see more trash and more trash. So let's hide that and let's make videos so you only see the beautiful stuff. And I agree, man, this is fantastic. But when you're out here, this is what your eyes focus on. And now I recognize the National Forest isn't this bad, but I have seen pictures where it is. I've seen videos where people come out to these events in BLMs and just trash it up. I've made videos where we were at the BLM and you couldn't step anywhere. There was a lot of trash, and it was just a small little campground. You know, giving that guy another week or two, I'm sure he could have had just as big a mess as this in the National Forest. So we have dealt with this all day long. The property that we originally went to look at, that was $7,500, had the stream and the well. Somebody had dumped, you could see somebody backed up to it and just dumped trash down into it. That would have been the first thing we would have had to have done, is pick that up. Well, today we went up to 3 different locations. Now there's one spot, it's an acre, and it's in town. Now see, Missouri is really cool when it comes to freedom. There's a town and everybody has little tiny houses. People are on solar panels. One person backed his mobile home underneath his carport. So he's got a house, a carport. He backed his mobile home up to the carport. Now he's got a double wide, his house and his trailer. So he literally made more room by simply backing up his trailer to the house. It was a really good idea. And see, that's the kind of neat stuff that you can do in Missouri. And that's what I think freedom should be. We talk about freedom, and so people want freedom, and I do too. I want to be free. I want to be free from government regulations. I don't want to be told how to build my house. I don't want to be told that I have to be hooked up to power and electric. I want to just be able to live in all my property and be left alone. But how can you be left alone? Because this is what freedom turns into. You know, there are people downstream, I'm sure, that would be really interested to know what is in that garbage there. This is where government has to take action, because other people come in and they want to buy a piece of property like myself. And in order to buy a piece of property, I had to drive past house after house after house that had this kind of devastation. Now over here, this property behind me here, this is what I'd like to buy. But how do I deal with this? This is a little bit out of our price range. We probably won't get this one. Every piece of property we've been to had neighbors that did this. And so this is what freedom turns into. This is what freedom turns into in the national forest when you're doing nomadic lifestyle also. People want freedom, and then they want the freedom to throw their human waste out, which we've seen, and other people have to clean it up. I've had to bury other people's human waste in the national forest. They want to be able to throw their trash out. They want to be able to stay parked endless days, months in one spot, even though there's a 2-week rule. And I get it in the comments section so much. There's the government regulating what we're going to do. Can't we all just be free? Where is the line between freedom and respecting your neighbors? Now, the other thing that we ran into a lot today, and I'm hesitant to talk about this, it really concerns me. I'm sure somebody's going to chew me out. I'm confident that I saw illegal substance labs in several of these locations. And so I guess that's the kind of freedom that you get when you come out to these areas also, where you're looking for wide open spaces, but people have other ideas about freedom. And the problem with those kind of freedoms is those freedoms are dangerous. Those labs can blow up. The chemicals that they release, I'm sure, are dangerous. Are they in the streams? As a matter of fact, there's a stream on one of them that we were looking at today, and it looked murky. And the first thing Carolyn would said, well, I'm kind of concerned about that stream. I really wouldn't want to take water out of it because of maybe there's human waste in it. You know, you don't know if people are dumping their waste in this. And then she said, and are there any chemicals in it from the labs that we've driven by? Today I got 2 different comments, and I think they're both appropriate. In a video I made recently, I was talking about different LA County in California evicting people off their own lands. They've been living there for years, and then they changed the codes, and code enforcement came out and evicted them, told them to get off their lands. I'll put a link to that video right here. Well, somebody commented and said, I've been a construction worker for 42 years, and there's one simple solution to all these problems: follow the code. And that, you know, that's the thing is there's some people in this world that are conflicted with that. Well, I don't want to follow code. I want to build a tiny house. And in many parts of the country, your house has to be certain size, 400 square feet or something. I don't know. Each state's different. In Missouri, they don't have any regulations. So if I follow code, I got to build a house to a specific specification, spending more money on space that I don't need. I got to be hooked up to electric. A lot of people say, well, you know, we need to reduce our environmental impact, so I'm going to hook up to solar. Can't do that in many parts of the country. So that's, you know, where's the freedom? And where do we stop this? What's the balance? Another person said about that video, was talking about Colorado County. There's a county in Colorado that put a lot of restrictions. You can't, you know, live in your camper, which would be a problem for us because we're going to live in our camper until we build a house. And they said, well, the reason you can't build campers is because we got tired of people moving in their mobile homes, tearing them up and abandoning them and leaving them for trash. Understood. So there's got to be a balance between freedom and this. It doesn't appear to me that you can have freedom, because this is going to upset somebody. And someday somebody's going to put in some regulation that says we got to stop this. And what the problem with regulation is, once you have the regulation in place to stop this, it starts to grow and becomes this monstrosity. Before you know it, you can't even mow your grass out here. So thanks for watching. Click like if you like the video, and happy travels.